Connections. My name is David Rodriguez. I'm the Public Access Coordinator here at DCAT. And John, this may be a little biased coming from me, but this is one of the best nights of the year. And of course, I mentioned earlier, this is Community Connections. Why are you excited about Community Connections?
It is a great opportunity. We bring in, A, we're broadcasting live. B, we bring in all these nonprofits and give them an opportunity to talk about their mission statement, their fundraising opportunities, the events going on, how to get involved with their organization. And that's one of the beautiful things about Danvers is there are so many organizations doing so much for so many people. So it really is a fun night to hear about everything that's going on and also just a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year was the first one I worked, and I know just speaking from personal experience, by the end of it, I felt energized, almost rejuvenated, because as you mentioned, there's so many organizations within the Danvers community who are doing a lot of great things. And if you're someone who's looking to get involved, this is the correct show to be watching, because you're going to find out just what these organizations and what these nonprofits have to offer for the Danvers community as well as yourself. And I encourage everyone to just, if you're interested, just give it a shot. Really.
Absolutely. It's the best hour and a half on TV. Tonight, I guarantee it. And if you're watching it on when we replay it, watch the whole thing. All these organizations are doing great things here in town. And it's unfortunate. We probably only have 20, 22 of them on tonight.
Right.
There's about 75 or 80 different nonprofit organizations that do great things in the town of Danvers. If you want to be involved, tonight's the night to watch.
I couldn't agree more, and I think we've talked about it enough. And the people at home, they're probably antsy, John, so they want to get started.
Let's bring them in.
Let's get started. Microphone. And I think we're live, and we're back here with Community Connections. I'm here with Stacy and Ann from the Northeast Arc. And without further ado, we're going to get started. So I'm going to start with you, Ann. So your early intervention programs help children up to age 3 who aren't reaching their milestones. What type of support and assistance do you help provide with them?
We do. At early intervention, we help families, providing them strategies and supports to learn more about children's development. Mm-hmm. So we see our job as giving families lots of strategies, ideas, information to help them be able to capitalize on all the learning opportunities that happen throughout the day in a child's life. So we do that in a lot of different places. We can go to a family's home, we can go to daycare, we can go to a family member's home, a park, a playground. Wherever families are having questions or struggling, we can go right with them and work on whatever goals they have. Some things we do one-on-one, like those home visits. Yep. Other things we do in a group. So we can provide support in group. We have parent-child groups in all kinds of sites across the Northshore and the Cape Ann area.
Yeah, I'm sure that can be important because judging by all the different sort of options you laid out, there isn't really a cookie-cutter answer for any of these situations.
There's not. And early intervention is very individualized. We meet with each family individually and talk about what are their priorities and what would they like to see their child doing, and then work together as a team to provide the supports and strategies to help that child get to where they want to go.
That's incredible. So Stacy, I'm going to move on to you now.
Okay.
So bullying and isolation, unfortunately, can be a real problem with children with disabilities. What type of support do you provide for those local families?
So bullying and isolation is a huge problem for our population. And we have lots of resources at the ARC to engage everybody in the community. So we run 2 family resource centers that have training for parents, self-advocates, professionals, so that everyone feels empowered. And then we also have a recreation program that is huge. It has a wide array of programs that people with disabilities can come and be part of. We have arts and crafts and fitness and yoga, cooking classes, Friday night happenings, Saturday socials, so that there are so many things. If you're at the ARC on a Friday night, it's the most happening spot in Danvers. No
That's
kidding
awesome.
either. Yeah, there's everybody's making friends, dates for the next week, and there's all kinds of things happening. And Saturdays are very similar. There's programs that we have. All day Saturday, we have a program called Spotlight, which is a social skills program, and actually it has a lot of drama-based therapy and things involved in it too.
That's great.
And they practice different social skills there, and they also just find peers, people with like interests. They work on engaging them in social media and finding ways to connect. And then we have, on top of that, we just have a lot of different things throughout the community happening.
Sure. That's incredible. So do you also, the Autism Support Center, is that also your responsibility, Stacey? Or you work with that?
Yep, so the
People-
Autism Support Center is one of those 2 family resources centers that I mentioned.
Okay.
And they have very similar programs, a lot of, they have like a bike clinic and social programs during vacation weeks, and the only difference is that they are just for the autism population.
Okay.
So their mission is to empower the families with individuals with autism.
Okay. And when it comes to businesses, how does the Northeast ARC partner with businesses?
So we're right here in Danvers, and so we have 1,000 employees and 50 locations. So to keep those locations and employees going, we have to use a lot of local resources. We have big transportation. We have a we have a fleet of vans for transportation that we bought all at Danvers Ford.
Oh, that's
and,
awesome.
Yeah, and just keeping those things running. And we use a lot of local restaurants for catering in-house meetings. We use Endicott Park for a lot of events. We use the Danvers Sport for a lot of events. So we kind of keep we also have some small businesses in the area have become to rely on. So we have Breaking Grounds. It's a small coffee shop in Peabody. And a lot of the businesses around use them to cater meetings and things. And then we also have Shine Jewelry, which you could use as a small business in Danvers, would use them to do specific gifts for something or to do wholesale jewelry. They have beautiful jewelry there. Yeah, they really do.
Perfect.
And then we also have Heritage Industries, and they are documentation destruction for over 500 companies in the greater Boston area.
We actually had them on last year during this program.
Yeah,
for
so
Heritage.
they are great, and a lot of our own businesses employ people from our supported employment and employ people with disabilities. So it kind of goes all around, but we try to stay local and use a lot of the local businesses.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Stacey and Ann, I don't know if you have any final points you want to bring up before this is
I
done.
don't think so. Do you think of anything we didn't mention? No.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you guys very much for coming on, and I think there was a couple key words you heard in there. One of them being local, and this is a local organization. So if you feel as though that they do kind of support what you're looking for, absolutely check them out. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So let's send that back over to John now.
Thank you, David. I'm John Call, and I'm here right now with Helen Palmer from the Miss Pink organization. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
So tell me, what inspired you to get involved with the Miss Pink organization?
Well, I am a 4-year breast cancer survivor, and I had a friend at work who's been volunteering for Miss Pink for a long time. Hi, Katie. And she's a pageant winner, and she told me about the pageant, and at the time I just had a double mastectomy, and I said, no, I couldn't possibly compete. And she said, okay. The next year, I was still going through reconstruction. And then when surgery was complete, she said, no excuse, you got to do it. So I did it last year, had no idea what to expect. And from the dress fitting at Bella Sarah Bridal in Danvers to meeting everybody the day of the event, it was just a warm, welcoming, you felt part of the family. And it was just a beautiful experience because when you go through breast cancer, you lose a lot of control over your body, and you lose a lot of power. You lose your schedule. You lose kind of control. And I remember the first time Heidi zipped me up in that dress, I burst into tears, and she said, "What happened?" I said, "I feel feminine for the first time in years."
Oh, isn't that nice?
And it was really kind of part of Miss Pink is that redefining beauty. I don't look like a pageant winner, but I was very surprised this year when they called my name at the end of the night.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So it was
Now,
fun.
and I also understand your mother was very instrumental in you being involved in this. Is that correct?
Yes, my mother actually passed away from breast cancer 24 years ago, and I kind of took my grief and channeled it into volunteering for the American Cancer Society. I even worked for the Cancer Society for a while, and I'm still an active volunteer. And because she raised me always serving the community, we were always volunteering for the Red Cross. We served in a hospice together. So she was always about taking care of the community. If there was a situation she didn't like, she made an effort to change things.
Good for you.
So that was how I got involved in the Cancer Society.
Yeah, truly inspirational woman, it sounds like. So tell me, what have you accomplished through the Miss Pink organization?
Well, my focus this year has been volunteerism. So we have gone as a group several times to go cook dinner at the Hope Lodge in Boston for the American Cancer Society, where they provide free accommodation for patients who are coming to long-term treatment in Boston. So it's basically a hotel right on the edge of the medical district where people come from all around the world to spend months at a time to get their treatment, and they can have a caregiver come with them. And they ask volunteers to come in and serve dinner to these people. And it's wonderful for them and for us, because for them it's meeting somebody who's not in their medical bubble.
Sure.
But also for us to make a difference and see what an impact we can have by volunteering and supporting other survivors as well. So it's a win-win situation.
Absolutely. And again, it sounds like a truly wonderful organization. How can people help you or get involved with the Miss Pink organization?
Go to www.misspink.org. And the pageant is next year, the second Saturday of April. So I believe that's April 14th. I think we're looking at a location in Danvers. And so we're looking for survivors also to be part of the event. So if you are a survivor or know of a survivor who might be willing to share their story and enjoy a day of beauty and pampering and feeling wonderful, and be willing to share their story and meet a sisterhood of fantastic women and the Miss Pink organization itself, then sign them up. You can nominate them at www.misspink.org.
Great. And I'm sure that's up on our screen right now. So I'll make sure that everybody gets that information. Congratulations to you for being a survivor and for doing everything that you can to help other women who are trying to go through a very, very difficult situation in their lives.
That's right.
So thanks for doing that. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. David, over to you.
John, I'm over here with Hope from Northshore Pride. Hope is a good friend of DCAT. I know she's been on several programs over the last couple of years or so, in particular with Miss Gala Bartlett. So Hope, welcome back. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for having me.
I guess I'd love to start off with, so if you're familiar with some of the programs Hope's been on, you've heard about the focus that Northshore Pride has. Is the focus this year any different than previous years?
Well, I think the difference this year for Northshore Pride is that, for those who don't know, this is the 50-year anniversary of the Stonewall riots, which really began the LGBTQ movement across the country, not only across the country, but also internationally. So we're putting a little bit of spin on that in terms of our focus on advocacy and education and moving on, and how far we've come since the Stonewall riots, and honoring those who participated in the Stonewall riots.
So I guess what makes this year so much more important for Northshore Pride? I know you just touched on the 50th anniversary there. Is there anything that you'd like to reference specifically?
Well, I think this year what we're focusing on mostly is really, in addition to our Northshore Pride Parade and Festival that we offer, is really about education. Mm-hmm. We have a component of our mission is education and advocacy, and so this year you'll see some programming from Northshore Pride specific to education of our community. So we're bringing in a keynote speaker, probably in February or March. We'll be at the Cabot Theater for an event.
That's awesome.
To really talk about sort of the LGBTQ movement and how far we've come and where we need to go.
Mm-hmm. And I know you used the word education there, and that's absolutely an important word with so many different organizations, but with the LGBTQ community in particular, I feel like a lot of it can be sometimes a lack of understanding. So education is definitely important. And
you make a great point, because think about question 3 recently that we just voted on, and thank God it passed. And that's a great example of how education really helped in terms of helping the community understand exactly what it means specific to transgender rights, and specifically knowing that next week is Transgender Awareness Week. Mm-hmm. This couldn't have come at a better time. What great news for our transgender community.
I couldn't agree more. I guess, are you able to tell us just a little bit about some of the community outreach that Northshore Pride is involved in?
Sure. So in addition to our regular Pride Parade and Festival. We have our networking event, which we'll have again this year, probably in February or March. Also, this year we're very excited to be involved in an event called I Am Jazz, a reading of the book I Am Jazz, written by two transgender persons. It's their personal account, and it's at the Salem Library on December 7th in the Children's Reading Room. And this is in honor of several decades ago. There was actually a boycott of reading a book about transgender children at a school, and so the HRC Human Rights Committee established this event so that across the country we could help educate people about transgender children and what it means to be transgender.
And I think it's absolutely important for those personal stories to be told however they can be told, however somebody's comfortable telling them, in particular if there are those who are wondering in terms of like how they're feeling, like if it's correct. And just hearing those personal stories, I'm sure can be just, I don't know if invigorating is the right word, but just like comforting almost in a way.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest issues for our community, across our community, is isolation. And that's one of the reasons why I started Northshore Pride, was just to help people understand that you are not alone. And specifically in the transgender community, a lot of transgender persons feel like they are alone. And so this is a great way, especially with our younger kids, to let them know that they are not alone, because we know that transgender persons suffer more discrimination, they're bullied more often. We know that they have higher risk of suicide, specifically transgender persons of color. And so it's very important in North Shore Pride that we do some outreach and we get the word out.
Yeah, that's awesome that you guys are able to do a lot of those things. I know we've touched on North Shore Pride as a whole, so personally, what is your most memorable moment of being on the North Shore Pride board?
That's a tough one, and we're going on our 8th year. And I think probably one of the most memorable moments was last year. This is the 20-year anniversary of Matthew Shepard's murder. Matthew Shepard, a young man who was murdered for being gay. And last year, at our professional networking event, we had his mother, Matthew Shepard, and the founder of the Matthew Shepard Foundation come and speak. And just hearing her speak, getting to know her a little bit personally, was just an amazing moment. And just the feedback from all those in attendance we had at the Peabody Essex Museum, and it was a wonderful event. And because people were educated about not only what it means to be gay, but to extend beyond to the family of Matthew Shepard, and what it means to lose then a child to bullying just because he was gay.
It's unfortunately a terrible story. But I'm sure the presentation itself was probably pretty powerful.
It was amazing. She's amazing. The whole foundation, just amazing.
So for those at home, I'd love to just end on sort of a point of, if you want to get involved, if you want to find a way to support, is there any sort of recommendation?
Absolutely. Go to northshorepride.org. We're always looking for volunteers. We're also now interviewing for board members, and I'm happy to announce that this year we are actually going to hire a part-time position. So if you're interested, info@northshorepride.org. Just let us know, and we'd love to meet with you and talk with you. Thanks so much.
That's awesome. Yeah, and as Hope said, the website, so for all the nonprofit organizations that are here, there's actually the website right below my finger. It's going to have the website for all the organizations that you can reach out to for more information. So Hope, thanks again for coming on today.
Really a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to talk to you. We're going to send it back over to John now.
Thank you, David. I'm here with Gary Cowles from Habitat for Humanity, North Shore. Gary, welcome to the show. And can you tell us a little bit about Habitat for Humanity? I think a lot of people have heard the name over the years, but probably are not as familiar with what the organization does.
Yeah, yes. People are most familiar with Habitat having to do with Jimmy Carter. He made it famous. He really put it on the map. He didn't actually found it, but he did put it on the map. And it is a Christian organization whose mission is to provide a safe and affordable house for everyone, one host at a time. It's now grown to nationwide, actually worldwide organization. The entire United States is divided into affiliates, of which we are one. We are Habitat for Humanity North Shore, We cover just what the name says, the entire North Shore. And we are an affiliate of the larger Habitat International. Part of every nickel we raise goes to support the international efforts in various underdeveloped countries. We're an affiliate that's all volunteer at this point, well, predominantly volunteer at this point. A lot of affiliates are a lot larger, have a lot more paid employees, but we're getting going, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later on.
Okay, well, let's start with that. Do you have a project going on here in Danvers?
Yes, we do. We've got a house on Lorraine Road, right across from the ice cream and golf driving range off of Conant Street. It's a 3-bedroom ranch. We've already picked the family that's going to live in it. They're a lovely family, and they're working with us every Wednesday and every Saturday, building their own home. Part of the requirements of the Habitat model is that the people who are going to own the home have to put in 400 hours, what we call sweat equity, working with us. It's a part I like the most because we get to know the family, they get to know us, so they really become friends over the course of anywhere from 6 months to a year that it takes to build the house.
Now, so I'm, in my mind anyhow, I'm thinking of building a house from scratch. You have the land and you're digging a foundation, et cetera, et cetera. Do you take houses and rehab them? So you're buying a house, but then improving it and correcting any flaws, et cetera, et cetera?
Both models. Our most frequent way of acquiring a home is there is a dilapidated structure in some city or town, and the city or town has taken it for back taxes, and so it's off the tax rolls, and the city is responsible for it. They want to get rid of it.
Right.
So we work with the city or town to find a way for us to acquire it. Then we gut rehab it if it's possible. If it's not possible, we tear it down and start all over again.
Gotcha.
We did a project in Danvers on Coolidge Road where the home wasn't salvageable. So we had to tear it down to the ground and then build a new house from scratch. Very fortunately, the home on Lorraine Road was an empty lot of land. I'm not sure exactly the story why it was empty, but it was an empty lot of land. We were able to acquire it, and we're building a house from scratch there. It's going to be a beautiful ranch house, but very in line with what the rest of the neighborhood is.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So, two questions here. One, how do you raise money? And then the second follow-up to that is the number of homes that you end up doing each year.
Sure.
Is that based on your fundraising and what it's really going to cost to do each individual home?
Well, it's kind of based on two things. It's based on the funds we have available, because we don't have the house fully funded when we start it. We're raising money the whole time to pay for the materials we need to build the home. Almost 100% of the labor that goes into the house is free. We have volunteers that come every Wednesday and Saturday, some skilled, some not. But most of the labor is free. But we have to hire the skilled trades like plumbing and electrical and the foundation guy and the septic tank guy all have to be paid. I don't like the term skilled trades because that implies that what we're doing is not skilled. Licensed trades,
there you go.
I should
say. I was going to say the ones where if the house burns down, they're responsible because
right.
they hook something up wrong, right?
So your original question was, how do we raise the money? There's a lot of different ways we do it. The two major fundraisers we have each year are our annual appeal, which is going on right now, where we have a mailing list of thousands of people that get appeals, and we collect a good deal of money that way in donations ranging from $10 to $5,000. And the second major fundraiser we have each year is the auction. we have an auction, like a lot of groups around here. We like to think ours is a little bit unique. And it's going to be a week from tomorrow night at the Danvers Sport Yacht Club. And Gala will kill me if I don't mention that she is the auctioneer. And she does a great job. She's done it for a couple of years now. She gets right down into the audience and really boosts the amount of money we raise.
Excellent.
So we're very grateful to her for that. So we need people to attend the auction to bid on items. So please consider coming. It's a week from tomorrow night, November 16th, 6 o'clock, Danvers Sport Yacht Club. You can buy tickets on our website, which is, I assume, on the screen.
It is.
And or you can purchase them at the door. So we'd love to see you there.
That's awesome. So, and I assume people can also volunteer for those Wednesday or Saturday shifts through your website?
The Wednesday and Saturday shifts are great. They're two different crowds. The Saturday crowd is quite a few corporate groups where General Electric, for instance, might send 20 guys and work all day with us. Or whatever group you can think of. We had the Boston College football team come en masse. The Wednesday group is a little different. The Wednesday group is a bunch of retired guys. The group grew and grows slowly, but there's been a great esprit de corps and camaraderie that's been built over the years, and it's a core group of guys, 14, 15 guys that show up every Wednesday. And I shouldn't say just guys, because we do have 2 or 3 women that come every Wednesday also.
That's great.
Yeah, and some are skilled, some are like me. They're homeowners that know how to bang a nail.
There you go. That's all you need to do,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, turn
Yeah.
a screw, bang a nail.
That's
We're
right.
good. Well, Gary, I wish you a lot of luck in the project that you're working on now. Have a great time at your auction coming up next week, and thanks for doing what you do.
Can I mention just one other thing?
Absolutely.
We've recently opened what we call a restore, which is another way we hope to raise money.
In Peabody, yes.
A restore on 58 Pulaski Street in Peabody. We take donations of furniture, building supplies, house goods, things of that nature, and resell them using the money to build the homes. So that's another avenue for people to get involved. We need volunteers to run the store, to go out in the truck, pick up things.
Or to donate stuff.
Or to
Right.
donate stuff.
Yep, absolutely. That's
Thank you.
wonderful. Very good.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Gary. Pleasure having you here.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, John. I know that restore that Gary was touching on, there's actually a lot of nice stuff there, so I do recommend checking out if you are in need of any sort of furniture or home-based appliances even. They have a little bit of everything there. But here I'm now meeting some new friends from the Danvers Girl Scouts, and I would love it, I guess, if you guys would just start off just by introducing yourself, so say your name as well as what rank you are within the Girl Scouts.
Hi, I am Gigi Barrows, and the rank I am in Girl Scouts is a junior.
Hi, my name is Caroline Smith, and the rank I am is a junior Girl Scouts.
All right, so you guys are both junior Girl Scouts, is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, I know a lot of people at home are familiar with the Girl Scouts. How old do you have to be to participate in the Girl Scouts?
So, the age that you can participate in Girl Scouts is that you can start in kindergarten, and then until you get into high school, and after you graduate, you can become a adult leader member and all of that.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Yeah, that
Yes.
works for you as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think that's awesome to hear that you can enter the program starting kindergarten. You guys said all the way through high school.
Yeah.
So this is like assuming everything goes well, it's a long-term program. Do you guys plan on being it all the way through high school? Does that work for you?
Yes.
You're enjoying everything?
Yeah.
That's perfect. So I know the one thing that a lot of people at home probably associate with the Girl Scouts is the cookies. I know I'm a big fan. And for those at home, including myself, who are interested, how can you go about buying some cookies?
So you can buy these cookies by looking at the Danvers Girl Scout Facebook page, or you can email the Girl Scout at DanversGirlScouts01923@gmail.com.
Perfect. Yeah. So once again, that website, I believe, so the website for the Facebook page is actually right below us on the lower third there. So check that out if you're interested in cookies. Do you guys have a favorite flavor of those cookies are you?
I like shortbread.
Shortbread?
Yeah.
I like the shortbread too.
Shortbread? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
shortbread is it's probably a favorite of mine. I'm curious what John's is. We'll find out in just a little bit over there. So what projects are the Girl Scouts working on currently in Danvers?
So right now we're working on trying to get our badges, and on December 1st we are going out into the square and doing caroling.
And so how we earn these badges are, as a troop, we talk to each other and say, hey, like, I think we need to earn this badge. And so we earn the badge by following the steps, and the badges teach us a lesson on which we need to learn as kids.
That's perfect. So it looks like you guys already have some badges right now.
Yeah.
Are you able to just tell me about at least one or two of them? I'm curious just what's going on here.
So this one right here is our garden badge,
Okay.
and we learned it, and we got it how we made like succulent plants, and then this one is that we like made salad, French toast, and all of that.
And cooking, and stuff. And it taught us how to do stuff when we get older, and how to experiment with stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean learning those life skills that you can use just in everyday life. So this is
Yeah.
stuff that we mentioned earlier that you could be in the program from kindergarten through high school and even adult leadership roles after that.
Yeah.
So if you're learning these skills and traits at such a young age, that's probably going to be helpful. So do you guys do all the cooking in your house then? Is that how that works?
No.
Not all of it? Okay. So I guess the last message is, and I'd love for you guys to stare right at the camera and answer this. Do you guys have fun at the Girl Scouts?
Yes.
They have fun, and that's definitely a big part of it. So thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Yeah.
I really hope you enjoy this interview. And John, I'd love to send it back over to you. So don't forget, I'm curious what Girl Scout cookie you like the most.
Well, thank you, David. A, I like all the Girl Scout cookies. B, tag-alongs are my favorite. And C, the only Girl Scout cookies that aren't good cookies are when you eat the entire box in one sitting and then it's just the calories. There isn't a flavor that's a bad flavor. But I'm here right now with Lou Hathaway from the Triad Council. Hey, Lou, how are you? Good to see you again.
Thanks. Good to see you.
Always good to have you here.
Yeah.
First, tell me a little bit about the Triad Council. Who you are, when you meet, how often you meet. Give me the basics.
Well, I'm the co-chair of this year of the Danvers Triad Council, along with Wendy Pearl from Community Greetings. And we're an organization of seniors that is working together to promote safety awareness among seniors and to help them prevent the issues with scams and other crimes that may affect seniors. And we work closely with a lot of people, okay, which include the district attorney's office, the sheriff's department, the Danvers Senior Center director and the director of the Danvers Housing Authority, the Danvers Fire and Police Departments, and other social service agencies like Northshore Elder Services.
So in terms of getting the, because I know I get a ton of scam things all the time.
Right.
I still get one from the prince over in some foreign country who has $1 billion and just needs my bank account to deposit for me.
Right.
But how do you get the word out to the seniors about all these things? Do you have a newsletter? Do you have events going on? It's like, how do you communicate with everybody?
We do. We have, would like anybody to come to our meetings where we discuss, we have the police department to come, we discuss the latest scams and so forth. We'd like anybody to come to our meetings, which are 4 times a year in September, December, March, and June. And we meet, it's easy, we meet on the second Monday of the month at 11 o'clock in the Danvers Senior Center in the conference room there.
Great.
And we have a lot going on there, and we'd like to talk about some of those things.
Absolutely.
Some of the things are what we call Triad on the Road. Okay, this is something that we've developed where we wanted to go around to the various housing authority locations and tell about our various programs. So we've gone around to all of them so far, and we've started back in at Tapley. And we've had very good results from that. What we do is we go around and give out flyers to each one of these locations, letting them know that we're going to be coming there. And this works out pretty well to get as many people as we can.
Sure.
We have a table at the YMCA Active Older Adults Day in June, early in June. We have also a table at the Oldies Night. You know,
Absolutely.
We're always
You're right
there.
next to me all the time.
Right next to
Absolutely.
you. We really appreciate that, getting the word out to as many people, not just seniors, but we have been able to affect and give a lot of information to other people who might have seniors in their family. We have a program right here at DCAT that I host called the Danvers Triad Corner, DCAT Triad Corner. And I host various individuals that come in and talk about some of our programs. The latest one that we had was Danvers Fire Prevention Officer, Captain Jim Brooks, was here, talk about fire safety and hoarding, which is a very serious issue, but we were able to, with the help from the Northshore Services, Protective Services Officer there and so forth, get out information about that. And you want to watch for our next program on DCAT, where I'm going to be delving into a little bit further about fire prevention and safety from falls. Okay, there was some information that we got from our last meeting at the Triad Center, Triad Corner, from the fire chief who was there at our meeting, and I felt that information would be very helpful to present in one of these Triad Corner programs.
So how often are those on, by the way, the Triad Corner?
Triad Corner has been kind of spotty. You know, I've done 6 of them so far, and they come on about once or twice a year that we're able to get those on. I have a very good crew here that helps me, you know, do the cameras.
Everybody at DCAT is wonderful. They really are.
They've helped us out a lot. We have other things that we do. Really, what we start out with these small file of life cards. In case somebody is found by an ENT to be unresponsive, they have the red file of life cards. Small one you carry on your person, and the large one, which we have available for seniors, you put on your refrigerator.
Yep.
It's magnetized, and that information in there lets them know about your health and conditions or contacts that you might need to get in touch with somebody. We have a new project, all right, and it's called our Cell Phone Pocket Project. And this, what we got for the donation from the Danvers Friends of the Council on Aging, we have this cell phone pocket, which we put the small file of life card in the pocket, and that has information in case, for instance, my cell phone is locked, so folks can't get the emergency information about my contacts.
Right.
The ICE, exactly. And with donation from the Danvers Friends of the Council on Aging, we were able to purchase 300 Danvers emergency grab-and-go bags, which everybody has heard about, believe it or not. From the effect of the Danvers port explosion in 2006, we got some grab-and-go bags, 500 of them. They're all gone, but we have some bright new ones, 300, that we're able to give out to those folks. And this idea came from the folks who were affected by the Danvers port explosion way back then.
That is great. I'm telling you, you do great work. I know all of our seniors in Danvers are lucky to have this organization around. Again, I've seen you at family festival events for years and years and years, and I'm just amazed at the amount of information you have, the amount of ways you can help people, and it's the easy stuff. My mother has one of those cards on her refrigerator that I got for her at the family festival event. So something as simple as that makes it easy for first responders to be able to identify what meds you're on, who your contacts are, et cetera, et cetera. So great information.
Thank you.
Lou, thanks again for coming. Always a pleasure to see you. Best of luck.
Very good to see you. Thanks a lot.
Over to you, David.
John, thank you very much. I'm here with Lyle from DanversCARES. Lyle, it's great to see you again. I know you've been around DCAT here or there over the past couple of years. So I'd love if you could start off just by talking a little bit about what DanversCARES is.
Sure. DanversCARES is a grant-funded program of the Danvers Public Schools. We focus on positive youth development programming and parenting programming.
Yeah, positivity, that's the word right there. I know I've heard Lyle touch on that before.
You got it.
So coming up in the winter, what can we expect from DanversCARE?
So I'm going to sort of just tease a couple different programs here. We're going to be doing the Girls Circle program in partnership with the Danvers YMCA for a second time this year. And we're also going to be doing what we're calling the Family Workshop Series in partnership with the Peabody Institute Library.
Perfect. So you mentioned the Girls Circle program right there. Are you able to dive into a little more about what that program is?
Sure, yeah. It's a, it's a positive youth development program with a focus on social emotional learning for middle school age girls. It's a completely free program. It's once a week after school for 8 weeks. The Y buses kids from the middle school directly over to the Y. And then they work with a couple great adult advisors going through a whole series of curriculum of really fun, engaging activities for them to work on things like expressing individuality and working through some of the social issues that come up, especially at that difficult age for middle school girls.
That's awesome. I just want to take a slight break. So I know we mentioned the word positivity multiple times. And one thing I've heard from you that I think is extremely important is a lot of times, especially when dealing with teens, when they're having certain issues, there's a lot of negativity associated with it, which is unfortunate, but this is the reality of the situation. So to influence what you can by just incorporating positive elements, positive messages in particular, I think that can go a long way, and I'm sure that's part of why DanversCARES does it the way they do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like there in the past, people have tried so many different types of messages, right? And you can say, hey, no, don't do something a million times, and a lot of times people, I'd say teens, but really it's everybody, right? If you tell somebody to do something, not to do something, there's still a chance they're going to do it anyway. Sure, yeah. Especially at that age. So, we've always found, and the science really does back it up, that rather than telling people what not to do, we encourage people to take on healthy, positive behaviors instead.
That's awesome. So I know I remember the Strengthening Families program that you guys used to have in the past. Is the Family Workshop series similar to that?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. It's pretty similar content. We're actually going to be using the same Strengthening Families curriculum for the parenting side.
Okay.
Everyone's always enjoyed the curriculum. It's a really skills-based curriculum so that parents have the skills that they need to really work directly with their kids and really create a nice, healthy, communication structure in their family.
Sure.
And some of the feedback we got was that people can't always make a long commitment to come, say every Tuesday night, 6 weeks in a row. So instead, what we're doing this year, and with the help of the Family Workshop Planning Committee, we have we're going to be doing 6 standalone events from January through March, maybe early April, at the library on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I'll give you the exact dates, and they'll be up at DanversCARES.org as soon as we have them. But they're going to be one-off events where each night parents will be able to learn about one specific skill or one specific new area that they can work on with their families.
That's awesome. And it sounds like just by spreading it out, I'm guessing it provides at least a little more flexibility for those at home who said, as you mentioned, like going to 6 straight weeks can be a little difficult sometimes.
It can be. And of course, we want to be sensitive to that. And in a continuation of that, we're also providing free childcare as well. In addition, it's not just childcare. We actually have a woman named Sally Palmer. She works for Revive Mindfulness.
Yeah, sure.
And she's going to, do you know Sally?
So Sally's been here multiple times.
No kidding.
Yeah, good friend of DCAT.
Sally's great. And Sally's actually going to be running a curriculum specifically for the youth to work on mindfulness exercises while still making it fun.
That's awesome. So will DanversCARES be hosting the Light the Night Purple Opiate Awareness Walk again this year?
Yeah, we will be. So the Light the Night Purple Opiate Awareness Walk, that'll be likely in May. We don't have the date for that yet. Of course, we'll make sure that we'll be promoting it all over the place. I'm sure we'll be back here to DCAT to talk more about that. But yeah, absolutely. And if people are interested in getting involved in organizing or available to sponsor the event, they can all specifically contact me at DanversCARES.org or email me at lyleherod@danvers.org.
That's awesome. You heard it here first. I mean, it sounds like DanversCARES has a lot going on. I know that like I said, they've been friends at DCAT. We've had an internship or a work program through them last couple summers. We had Daisy and then Adrian this past summer. Yep. And that's been a huge help because it's definitely, we love supporting DanversCARES essentially is what I'm getting to. So Lyle, thanks a ton for coming on again. I do appreciate it. And best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Send it back to John.
David, in case you're just tuning in, this is Danvers Community Access Television, Community Connections, and we're live tonight. I'm John Cullen. I'm here with Eric Crane with an organization that is near and dear to my heart, Danvers Family Festival.
Hey, John,
hey Eric, how are you? Thanks
nice
for joining us.
You.
Yeah. So I'm sure everybody in town knows everything about Family Festival. Give us a little bit of background and then what you're doing in 2018.
Sure. The Family Festival is a basically a group of, it's been in existence, I think we're going to our 38th year, or 39th year.
39th,
actually,
yeah.
39th year. And a group of citizens in town who put on events basically from June through July, and at the same time that our group is putting on some events sponsored by Family Festival, then a number of other groups run events at the same time, all very family oriented. There are a few adult events, but primarily a way for Danvers families to get together, enjoy the family, enjoy each other, enjoy some music, just enjoy great fun with the kids. And it's a wonderful time for all involved, we hope, and it really helps bring the town together. At least that's what we hope.
Yep, absolutely. And most events are free or very, very low charge.
Yes.
So tell me, how do you do your fundraising? How do you raise money for all the events that you have to put on?
We do a mailer basically once or twice, or actually once a year. And we also have corporate sponsors who will at various levels help us each year by providing the funding that we need to run the events. And that's what allows us really to run the events at little or no cost in most cases.
Yeah. It truly is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Last year, there were 32 different events that went on during the festival. How many have coming up next year?
We're in the same ballpark. I mean, we have added an event to the Family Festival this year, which would include at Endicott Park Day, which many people I know attend and have fun. There'll also be an amateur barbecue.
Oh, cool.
Kind of, I don't know if it's a contest or an event, but so there'll be some good food for people.
The smoke-off.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
I'll definitely be going down to that.
But, we run most people are familiar with some of the events we run: Endicott Park Day, Oldies Night, Danvers Field Day, the Scooper Bowl. Let's see. I know I'm leaving some out here, and I'm going to try not to. You ran the barbecue and the clam bake for a couple of years running. Yeah. We have the Parrot Head Party, which is one of those adult events, and we'll be doing something like that again this year, but we're not quite sure what the theme will be. We're hoping it'll be kind of low-key and enjoyable, good chance for adults to get there as maybe a kickoff event.
Cool.
And as I say, in the meantime, there are things like the Rotary Concert and other groups that sponsor an awful lot of things, the Kiwanis Bike Safety Rodeo, fishing derbies, library book sale, just all kinds of events. If you look at the calendar typically, and you know this because you put it together, maybe one night or one day during the whole event there's something not going on. Right. I mean, it's an amazing time.
It truly is. There's something for everyone, from small children. There's
there's the doll carriage parade,
doll carriage parade,
Park,
certainly, yeah, and
the
the
bike
library where somebody's reading to them.
Yes, indeed.
Right up to the senior citizen cookout.
And the other event, the senior
Kiwanis
citizen,
Club puts on.
The brunch that Gardner Trask, who's on our group, helped organize last year, which was a scene. Basically, it was an afternoon with Sinatra and Barry Lawton, who's a wonderful singer. That was for the first time last year, an event designed really for senior citizens, though open to anybody. And we had a wonderful response from the local senior care facilities and a great turnout, and people raved about it. Yep. So there is truly, as you say, something for everybody.
For everyone, absolutely.
Yep.
And I know from personal experience, we need volunteers. You need volunteers, both to work on the board, to work events, and to help in any way they can, right?
Yeah, we have basically 3 levels, if you want to call it that, of people who can volunteer. And volunteers who just want to show up on the day of an event are aptly named volunteers. And then we have members which is a little more formalized relationship. You might want to work on a particular event. If you have an interest, for example, in the kickoff event, or an interest in the barbecue, maybe you want to work on that subcommittee and just do that and volunteer at that event. You can do that, and you can go on our webpage, fill out a membership form, and you can become a little more formally involved in a particular event.
Yep.
And then we have the directors. And that's really something you hope you would grow through the volunteers and the members to eventually become a director. And those of us who are directors are the ones who make the planning decisions and sort of strategic planning for the present and future of the Family Festival. And we really want to encourage people to get involved. We could use more members and directors as well as volunteers. It's a wonderful chance to do something for the community. If you were a director, you go to one meeting a month and you help us plan. And honestly, as you know, it's a lot of fun.
Oh,
We've got good people on the board. It's a great time to really be part of the board and enjoy planning the festival for the future. And honestly, we could use some directors, an infusion of new blood, people with families who are moving into the community. If you want to do something for Danvers, it's a wonderful day to get involved, and we certainly encourage that. Any information you need is on the website.
Yep.
You go to the contact us section or the partner section or volunteer section, and you can find all the information, the contact information you need. Really, it's a wonderful time. We hope you'll come out and help us because it's a great time. It's rewarding.
Shout out to Mark Jones, Mead Web Design.
Yes.
He did the website, does a great job for Family Festival. And truly, go to DanversFamilyFestival.com. Under the Directors tab, lists all the directors on the board. You can contact any one of them if you're interested in finding out more, volunteering, donating, whatever you need to do. Great organization, as I said, near and dear to my heart. So please, Eric, thanks for coming in.
Thank
and
you,
wish you
John.
all the
Thank you
best.
for the years
Looking
you gave us
forward-
on the board, too.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Thank you.
David, over to you.
Thank you, John. I'm here with the wearer of many hats, I guess is how I'll describe her. The wonderful Miss Gala Bartlett. Gala, thank you so much for coming on and speaking with me tonight. And tonight you're representing the Northshore Women in Business, is that correct?
Right, absolutely.
So I'd love, I guess, for the viewers at home, if you could just talk a little bit about who the Northshore Women in Business are, what they do.
Great. So Northshore Women in Business was actually founded in 1984. It was 13 business women got together and decided they wanted to start a networking group. So the networking group that they had in mind was a group that would get together, support each other, have activities and learning experiences together. So they started with 13 women. Now we're probably close to 100.
Wow.
So it's a great organization. I'm a past president. I'm proud to say that.
You should be, yeah. You should be
It's a
proud.
wonderful, supportive organization of women.
That's awesome. I mean, supportive sound right there sounds like the key word because
Yep.
I think a lot of times within the business industry in particular, where there can be a lot of male dominance, if you will, in terms of some of the higher positions, having an organization geared towards women where they can meet, they can gather, they can have, mentioned workshops, I believe,
Yep.
and it sounds like it absolutely is beneficial for the women within the group.
Absolutely. So one of the best things about North Shore Women Business I found is that the relationships that you make and how supportive they are of each other, and that there's all these different business owners and entrepreneurs that are working on so many different levels, and that it's great to connect with them and to support each other and to grow together.
That's awesome. And for those at home who are interested, who feel as though this would be a good fit for them, when and where do you meet?
So there's a lot of different things that we do now. We used to meet once a month for a breakfast meeting, and now we meet 2-3 times a month.
Okay.
We go to different business owners. We have last Monday of every month we go to Sylvan Street Grill. We have a meetup. We do networking events that are based. We just had one that was at a boutique in Topsfield. Before that, we went to the Cabot Theater and had it in their little bistro.
That's awesome.
With a comedian. So that was fun. That was a fundraiser for our scholarship as well.
Okay.
And we're going to be at the Wenham Tea House next week for a breakfast, and there'll be a legal seminar for us about how to protect your business.
That's important.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to know
So a lot
that.
of different things.
That's awesome. So for those at home who do want to get involved, what do you recommend? Is it okay to just show up to a meeting, or is there something more formal?
So it's a great group. We do different things. We have our Facebook page. We have our website, niswib.org. We also have a meetup. So
Okay.
if people want to meet up, they can go and find out about different events on Meetup, Facebook, the website. But there's all different kinds of things that we do now that you might not be a morning person, but there's a night event. You might not do afternoons, so there's a morning event. So
Okay.
there's all different kinds of events for different people.
So variety, catering to the different sort of lifestyles.
Right, and different people come to different mixers. So you might meet 5 people that you never met if
Yeah.
you come to a different event that North Shore Women in Business does.
Really does sound awesome.
Yeah.
So Gala, thank you so much for coming tonight. I do
Absolutely.
appreciate it. So as I mentioned before, with all the nonprofits, there's gonna be a website on the bottom of the lower third right there if you are interested to check out more for the North Shore Women in Business. Gala,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Hi, Gala. So I'm here joined right now with Evie Frazier and Julie McHarrison from the Danvers Garden Club. Thanks for joining us, ladies.
You're welcome, John. We're just going to talk a little bit about the club. It was organized in 1930. The first meeting was held at Ethel Prince's home on 5 Hunt Street with 30 members. Of course, we have grown to 185 members.
Wow.
And we now have our meetings at the Danvers Port Yacht Club. And our mission statement is to foster stimulate the love of gardening, aid in the protection of plants, trees, and birds, and to encourage civic plantings and foster the love of floral design. And we are a very civic-minded club, and Julie McHarrison, the president, she also has a co-president, Sue Farmer, and I'm filling in for Sue Farmer tonight. But Julie will tell you more about the organization.
Cool. It's a great organization. I love, so you're responsible for the baskets hanging up downtown. I know that, and they always look gorgeous, so thanks for doing that. But tell us more about the organization, if you will, Julie.
So soon we're having our green sale, our big green sale. Here's our beautiful bows that the club makes in one of our arrangements that will soon be selling on December 1st at the Endicott Park from 9 to 1. If you would like to pre-order anything, you can just visit us on Facebook at Danvers Garden Club, or you could also email us at danversgardenclub@gmail.com.
So, Julie, I'm going to ask you to step aside for
Sure.
just a moment, step towards
Sure.
me, so that everybody can see those beautiful bows that you're making and offering for sale. And, and what's the basket in the back?
The baskets are called the Greens Basket, and so we'll be selling the Greens Baskets, wreaths, kissing balls, boxwood trees. What am I missing out?
Kissing balls,
Kissing
boxwood
boxwood
trees.
Small, medium, large baskets.
Yep.
Cool.
All
Excellent.
varieties, yep. Not
And-
to be missed.
And how do people find out and order this through the website?
You can go to the Danvers Garden Club at Gmail, or you can visit us on Facebook.
Oh,
At
Gmail and Facebook, okay.
Yep.
Arrive that day.
Or arrive that day from 9 to 1 at the Endicott Park.
And what day is that again?
Saturday, December 1st.
Saturday, December 1st, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Endicott Park.
Endicott Park. You got it.
Early.
Come early
Come
for
early
the best
they
sales.
go quick. I know they do.
Yeah, they do.
Absolutely. So how do people get involved? Now, you have a waiting list. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. If you would like to become a member of the Danvers Garden Club, you have to be sponsored by a current member. If you know a current member, reach out and ask to be sponsored, or go online and send a message to the president and request sponsorship, and you'll certainly get it. And you won't. You'll be very happy that you did join. It's a wonderful group. There's something for everyone within the club. We have so many different committees, and it's very welcoming.
Now, do you meet at the same time every month?
We meet on the last Monday of the month at Danvers Port Yacht Club.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a wonderful organization. I know a lot of people that are involved with it, and they really seem to have a good time. So it's they're making something beautiful. They're helping the community. They're involved in the community. I'm sure your meetings are a lot of fun as well.
They're a lot of fun.
So that's
Yep,
great.
we take care of 3 of the gardens here in town. We take care of Center Street Garden, the town line over by Essex Aggie, as well as the hospice house. We maintain all those gardens. Members weed them and plant all the plantings, and we also have the president's garden at the library that the past presidents take care of and maintain as well. Those are all.
So key question for you is, how do I get my house on that list for the weeding and the planting and the beautifying?
Yeah, after mine too. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, put me on there. I'm number 3, all right? Well,
So-
ladies, thanks again for coming out. It's wonderful to have you. You do a great job in town. Love what you do. And I know we bought the boxwood on several occasions, so maybe we'll get over there this year and get another one.
Yes, and we're going to decorate town soon, right after the Thanksgiving, with the tree and our beautiful wreaths and ribbons as well.
December 1st, whoop, it's all
Yep,
up. Yep,
it's all
beautiful.
up. So thanks so
Excellent.
much.
Thanks, ladies.
All right.
Have
Thanks,
a great
John.
holiday. Thank you, David. Over to you.
John, I'm here with Mari from Deep. Welcome, Mari. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks so much for having us. It's an honor to be here with so many great community organizations. We're glad to be a part of it.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to highlight as many as we can. And I'm excited to talk about, I'm really excited about talk about Deep right now.
So
and I'm
am I.
sure you are as well.
For sure.
I'm sure it's an organization that you are familiar with, one you know a lot of it
Indeed,
about.
absolutely.
So I guess for the viewers at home, are you able to just start and just kind of go into who Deep is, what they support?
Absolutely. So DEEP stands for the Danvers Educational Enrichment Partnership,
Mhm.
and it really is an amazing collaboration between community members, the business community, and the Danvers Public Schools.
Okay.
And so we work really hard to raise funds to support the educational and extracurricular activities that happen in the schools that may not fall within the regular school budget.
Okay.
So it's really largely a fundraising group that works really hard to ensure that the schools have what they need so that our kids have what they need to succeed.
So you mentioned fundraising and acquiring funds. So it sounds like
sure.
that's a big part of it. So what sort of initiatives has DEEP been able to work on recently in regards to raising
Absolutely.
funds?
So this is probably the best part of being involved in DEEP, because we really get an opportunity to take a great look at all of the amazing things that are happening in the schools, and you wouldn't necessarily be aware, right,
Yeah, sure.
of what they're doing. So some of the things we've funded as really at the earliest levels of education around basic supplies for preschool classrooms that they need for gross and fine motor development,
Yep.
all the way to supporting special events that happen in the school, like trips and things. We've sponsored DECA jackets for that amazing and growing business program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Funded seed starting business groups at the middle school level. So really at all levels of education, we're able to help fund amazing projects for them. So, and I think one of the most amazing things that we're able to most recently fund are virtual reality viewers at the middle school level, where we're able to now transport our kids to amazing places around the world and give them an educational enrichment opportunity that they may not be able to, not all of us can get to a pyramid.
Sure.
And we're able to take our kids there now, in thanks to large part to some of the funds that DEEP has raised for the schools.
Yeah, that sounds incredible, because I actually did see a presentation. I believe it was one of the school committee meetings where they touched on the virtual reality aspect. And
Absolutely.
You're right, unfortunately, not everyone is. It would be great if everybody could go to
Right.
Egypt and see pyramids.
I'd love it.
It's just not the reality of the situation.
For sure.
So to have an alternative that allows kids to learn, it just sounds like a win-win, really, in the moment. It really does.
And we know, great schools belong to great towns, and there's just so many opportunities that we're able to provide now with an organization like DEEP to help support it.
Yeah, and that's great. And you touched on it's not just virtuality, though. It's everything down from pencils and art supplies that are needed as well.
Absolutely. If the teachers need it, we do our best to try to help ensure that it happens.
That's awesome. So for those at home who want to get involved, because that's part of what tonight is about, we want to
Yes,
show those
please.
organizations, and we want people to feel inspired, empowered, and say, hey, let me get my foot in the door there. What do you recommend? What would you suggest?
Sure, absolutely. I think the easiest way would be to become a member of DEEP. It's very easy. Membership starts at the individual level at just $10. A family membership is $20 for the year, and business memberships start at $100. So we really are making it accessible to as many families and individuals and businesses as possible to be a part of what we do. If you are in the business community and you'd like to be a part of DEEP, you can go to supportdeep.org, and we'll get back to that in a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But also volunteer for an event. We just had our 20th anniversary. Our biggest event of the year is our annual wine tasting.
Sure.
We take all hands on deck. So we're always looking in the various opportunities that we have throughout the year to raise funds. We always need extra help. So we look forward to having folks join us in our efforts. So if you have some time to spare and you want to join us, again, supportdeep.org.
Sure.
You can reach out and send us a note, and we'll be in touch with you at our very next event to see the ways that you can participate.
Perfect.
So those are the two best ways, I think, to join DEEP at this point, and then come to a meeting. We meet the third Wednesday of every month at 7:45 in the morning over at the First Ipswich Bank on High Street, right next to Walgreens.
Okay.
It's nice and early. Drop the kids off and come on over. Hear about what DEEP is doing. Participate in other ways that you might be able to get involved. We're always looking for community members and business members to be a part of what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, definitely, like Mari said, drop off the kids and head on over.
Absolutely.
Sounds perfect.
Please.
So I might be putting you on the spot right here, so I apologize for this.
No worries.
Here, you might be organizing something with a special someone. I don't know if you're able to leak any information or if
Well,
that's...
we have a couple of clues. There's some big black boots. There's some rosy red cheeks. He's got a big belly laugh. We are super, super excited to be collaborating with the town on the annual tree lighting this year. So this is DEEP's first foray into the tree lighting. We're going to be bringing Santa downtown and lighting the tree as we have for years now.
Yeah.
DEEP is super excited to be a part of it. It's an awesome collaboration between the three C's that we love: collaboration, community, and children.
Perfect.
So we will be organizing that event now. We're going around town now talking to the businesses about the ways that they can participate.
Yeah.
If you are a downtown business and you can hear this message, please, we'll be reaching out to you soon and hope that you can join us on Saturday, December 1st from 2 to 5, right in the square and in the surrounding areas. We're excited to be able to be a part and help organize sort of what is such a festive time in our town. So.
Yeah, that holiday festival as a whole, it's a ton of fun. So to be here that you're going to be working with the big guy over at the North Pole, that's pretty exciting. As somebody who's been a fan of his since I was a young child and still am.
You're not the only one,
Yeah.
so we're super excited. It's a great kickoff to the holiday season.
That's awesome. Well, Mari, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that this has been a pleasure for me, and I really hope people have understood the message of DEEP. And if you are interested, please get involved. That's all we can.
SupportDeep.org.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. I'm here with Sally Cairns and Dee Joko, and I apologize for calling you Dee. I screwed up your name last year. I'm not going to try it again this year. What is your first name?
Dutrochet.
That's why I call him Dee.
That's right.
And the Danvers Community for Human Rights and Inclusion, which is a mouthful to say. Now, I know you've changed the name. Tell me why you've changed the name.
Well, the committee was originally created in 1997 as a result of some anti-Semitic graffitis that we had at one of the Danvers schools. And it was then called the Danvers Committee for Diversity. We wanted to call it now the Danvers Committee for Human Rights and Inclusion because we thought it reflects more some of the things that we do. We want to condemn bigotry of all forms and make sure that we have a community that respects the rights of everyone, whether you are a Jew, a Muslim, a Christian, or have no religion, a gay, a lesbian, an immigrant, or born from a foreign country, whatever. We wanted to make sure that everybody in Danvers, the right of everyone in Danvers is respected.
And that's a great, great statement. I know in many, many parts of the world that does not exist. And I know in Danvers, we all seem to think that why would we need a committee like this or an organization like this in little Danvers? And yet we really do.
Right.
I think every town, every community needs to be aware that we all have biases, and we are surrounded in a culture where you have to really work to be mindful of your own stereotyping and what have you. And I agree. I think we've had great conversations within our committee about, respecting the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. That's how David Mills would say it. And he's our terrific member. And so we felt the name change is a little more all-encompassing.
Yep, absolutely. Tell me a little bit more about the things that you do. How often do you meet? What goes on? How can people be involved in it, et cetera?
Well, so we have focused, as you know, on cultivating a climate of acceptance and inclusion, as Dee said, being our newer kind of emphasis. We've worked recently with Students United for Acceptance at the high school, and that's a very rewarding collaboration that we have with them. This coming year, we're beginning to have conversations about how we can convene community conversations about hard topics, but things that we need to deal with and discuss and figure out how to civilly have these conversations. And then in addition to that, we do our usual partnering with the schools and with community DanversCARES, and
the Interfaith Partnership.
The Interfaith Partnership, our upcoming menorah lighting, by the way. We have the date, and it is
on your website.
It's yes, it'll be on our website. Thank you, John. Quick, someone get Mark Jones on the phone and get him to update the website. And then of course we do the Martin Luther King celebration on January 21.
That's right.
So tell me about the Mlk event. It's been going on for quite some time now, right?
Well, funny you should mention it. We just happened to have last year's.
Look at that.
This is from last year. So that was our 20th celebration of Dr. King and his message of peaceful, nonviolent protest, and also the message of, challenging racism and injustice. So this year, we will partner again with the schools, and I'll let you tell the new musical wrinkle.
Well, as last year, we always had students from the school. We're hoping this year we will have the a cappella group from the high school join us. They're great. They're actually going on an international trip.
Oh, no kidding.
If they're off tour.
Exactly. And we also have different groups that will be there. Hopefully St. John's Prep will join us again this year. It's going to be on January 21st at Danvers High School from 4 to 6.
Excellent.
It's free. open to the public, and we hope that everybody participates.
Correct.
And obviously, we also have a lot of artwork from the kids at the
exhibited throughout
exactly.
the event. Yep.
And anyone is welcome, by the way, to submit something there, whether you're homeschooled or at a different school. Please submit, get it up to the high school or bring it to town hall.
Yes.
Susan Fletcher, who's our long-standing, terrific staff person, will get it to the right people and it will be displayed. It's a wonderful day.
That's great.
It's a really wonderful, wonderful day.
It's a wonderful organization. You're doing a lot to help make Danvers a better town, better place to live, better group of people. To me, it's all about the communication. It doesn't matter that you may or may not agree with what I'm saying. It's talking about it. It's me hearing your point of view and you hearing my point of view and really listening. So the more you can do towards that, the better Danvers will be. Thanks for doing that.
That's right.
It's our pleasure, and I will say we've had very vibrant discussions within our committee this year about safe community, the immigration situation, and it's been thought-provoking and it's healthy.
Excellent.
It is indeed, and the bottom line, as Dr. King said himself, I'm paraphrasing here, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Agreed.
So even though something may not affect you directly, something that affects someone directly affects everybody else indirectly.
Sure.
So it's important that we get together and are able to work together.
Excellent. Thanks again. Appreciate
Thank
you
you,
coming
John.
in. Appreciate everything you do.
Appreciate it.
As
Thanks.
always.
My favorite
we'll
night
see you
is
next
this
year.
Community Connections.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
doing
much.
it.
Thanks, Sal. Over to you, David.
Community Connections is my favorite event as well, so I'm glad to hear that. I'm here with a good friend of DCAT for sure, Mr. Dick Moody, on behalf of Operation Troop Support. Dick, thank you so much for coming down tonight. I know we're going to have a good conversation right now. I'm excited.
My pleasure, David.
So I mentioned Operation Troop Support. So I was wondering, I guess, if you could just dive in real quick as to what our Operation Troop Support does.
Sure. We're going 15 years. We have been doing this as a nonprofit, and we go back to March of 2003 when our daughter called from overseas and said, "Dad, Mom, can you help us give some things to the troops?" That's how we started. We figured it would probably be a couple of weeks, and 15 years later and 900,000 care packages later, we're still going strong. Basically, our primary mission is to send packages to the troops that need it. We send all of our packages to an individual by name, not just to any soldier. And we have a database of 700 or 800 troops at any one time.
Wow.
So we know who to send them to, where they're located, and basically what their needs are.
So it sounds like it's changed a lot going back from roughly 15 years ago to when it started.
Yes, it did.
So when you think about over the years, so you mentioned roughly 15, is that correct?
15 years, yes.
So what has changed over those years?
There are several things that have changed. There are several things that have not changed. Not changed, basically, I'll take that first. The needs of the soldiers are pretty much the same now as they were 15 years ago.
Okay.
They need toiletry items. They need clothing items. They need non-perishable food items. I've been to Iraq. If you've ever been on a deployment and eaten some of the food that they give you, the MREs, meals ready to eat, you'll realize how important it is when something else comes in, cookies, anything like that, you know? And so we understand that. That hasn't changed. What has changed, for the most part, is the location of where we send the packages to. We sent them to Iraq, we sent them to Kuwait. Now we're sending them to Afghanistan, back to Iraq, to Syria, to Poland, to Djibouti, to Kosovo, pretty much a wider spread of areas. And the main reason isn't that we're fighting in all those areas that we didn't fight in earlier, but people are getting to know that we have this capability, and they're contacting us from all over the world.
That's incredible. It sounds like you're something, you touched on a care package, and it's something I know it's probably something I would take for granted being at home in the States, and I can only imagine just the actual moment of there's stuff in here that's outside of what I normally receive. You mentioned food, something as basic as cookies for the first, you take that for granted in a way, and
really,
it really does sound like an incredible organization that does do some necessary things. And thank you very much, I guess, is really what I want to say for that, Dick.
Well, it is amazing because things that we take for granted. I will tell you that in 2005, our son, our daughter, and I were all in Iraq at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And I went to a combat support hospital, sat on the end of a bed of one of the 30 patients that were in varying degrees of discomfort. And while I was there, the door opened up, and a nurse came in with 2 big boxes from Operation Troop Support. And I was like a little kid, you know, our system actually works.
Yeah.
But then I saw the expression on the patients' faces as the nurse went from bed to bed to bed. And it was, oh, can I have this? I haven't seen that, you know, for months. And it was so heartwarming that I said, we've got to continue to do this when we get back to the States. And that was a real boost to how I felt about the program.
Yeah, just to see it, you really do have that personal connection to an extent then. When you see it right in the moment, that's really awesome. So much what we're doing tonight is helping people get involved. People hear an organization they want to take part in. If someone wants to get involved with Operation Troop Support, what can they do?
There's several things they can do. First of all, I'd like anyone that would like to be involved to get in touch with us and give us their email address if they are working on email. We put their email address into our computer and we keep them updated on a daily basis as to things that we're doing. We may have a public packing or a public Christmas wrapping, or we may need to ask for some support. This weekend, for example, the Danvers Youth Soccer is putting their annual soccer tournament, and all the money that they raise comes to us. And I'm talking about from a referee's funding to the shirts that they sell, all the food, and that's how we pay for our postage. Our postage is about $2,800 a week.
Wow.
It's incredible how much it costs. And a lot of people think that, well, the packages go free. No, they don't. So we need things like that. We need helpers. We need people to volunteer to be at these different events. And that would be one of the key things. We also need people to write letters, write cards, pack up the boxes that we have. When I say we've got to pack, come on down and help us out. We need those kind of support. So these are things that you can do. And if you give me your email address, I can keep them up to date on all of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned just something as simple as the postage. Somebody might just assume that it is free, but you mentioned over $2,800 a week.
Most people do. And I will tell you, we send about 150 boxes every week.
Okay.
And there's a standard rate box of around $18.75 a box. So you can do the math. I think it's around $2,400 actually. But that's a lot.
It is.
And our mailbox is full every day of checks for $15, for $20, for $25. This is immensely helpful. But every now and then you'll get a donor, a major business that will give us a large check, and that's what keeps us going. If we don't have the money, it sits in our living room. But so far, it's never happened.
Oh, I guess that's a good thing, right?
It's a good thing.
So absolutely. So Dick, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I encourage you to check out Operation Troop Support. You mentioned, email is a good potential way to reach out. Really, if you want to get involved, do it. There's really no other way to say it. If you
give us a call, give us an email.
Perfect. So thank you, Dick, so much. It's been great to
Thanks a lot,
talk to you.
Dave. Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. John?
Thank you, David. And before my good friend Dick leaves the room, if you have any extra Halloween candy that you didn't give out on Halloween, the troops would love to get a Snickers bar or Three Musketeers or whatever. So I bought for 200 kids, 47 showed up. Guess who's going to get the rest of it? So, yeah, go on to the website. Let Dick know you're coming. Drop off the candy. The troops will thank you. So I'm here right now with David Mckenna from the Danvers Historical Society. David, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now, how did you first get involved with the Historical Society?
Well, I was always interested in history, and been on the committee on the society for years. But about 2 years ago, Dick Trask asked me to join the Board of Trustees that I agreed to, and they elected me. And I just wanted to support some of the educational and programs that they put on, and try to do what I can to preserve Danvers' incredibly rich history.
It is. It's a wonderful organization that educates and restores and continues to keep great historic properties in town. And education is really, really key. Tell us a little bit about some of the events you have going on.
Well, the next event we've got coming up is, well, actually, the first one is a speaker event. The third Thursday of every month, we have a speaker event. This month is going to be on the witchcraft trials and the personal stories of people that were involved and how it affected them and affected their lives. We also have coming up the Parade of Trees, which is a wonderful event that they've been putting on for 10 years now. People donate trees, set up trees with prizes and gifts on them, and you can buy raffle tickets to try to win one of them. And we have a raffle at the end of the program. It starts on the 28th. And it runs through, I believe it's December 3rd, but it's on the website, danvershistory.org.
Yep.
You can find all the details.
Yep. And as I recall, in past years, you've also had wreaths as well as the trees.
Wreaths
some
and
people,
trees,
some people do little trees. So if you have an apartment, you can put your tickets into that. Big trees, ones for kids, ones that are beautiful, all in one color. So it really is a fun event. It's down at Tapley Hall. So when you're out doing the Thanksgiving or the downtown holiday event the day after Thanksgiving. Then head on over to Tapley Hall, check out all the trees, buy your raffle tickets, help support the organization.
They'll also be having a program for the kids reading the Polar Express.
Oh, cool.
So the kids can come in their jammies and get some hot chocolate and a little gift and hear the story.
Nice, great story. And then you have a big event coming up,
We have a big event coming up in December. December 7th, we have our big soiree at the Glen Magna Mansion. It's a Christmas event, and there's room for 100 people, and we're sure it'll sell out. So if you're interested, call Page Street, 777-1666, or again, go on the website and you can order your tickets.
Excellent.
Should be a fun event.
Yeah, I bet you it is. All the events that are over at Glen Magna are wonderful events. They really are. It's a wonderful facility, wonderful old mansion. So how can people in Danvers help the Danvers Historical Society?
Well, obviously, we're looking to raise funds. We always need money to preserve the buildings that we've got and preserve the collections that we have. We want people to get involved and, join in some of the programs, volunteer your time. There's always programs going on. We have a great program down at Glen Magna called Come Grow With Us that Matt Martin, who is our groundskeeper, and the kid's a genius with plants. If you haven't been down there during the summer, come see the gardens. They're incredible.
They really are.
But this program is set up to help young adults learn about gardening and growing things. And it's for people of all abilities, special needs people, college people, everybody that's interested can come down and learn how to grow plants.
And it really is a wonderful opportunity because I know I grew up with my dad always working out in the yard, whether it was planting trees or weeding or planting flowers or whatever, but a lot of kids don't. A lot of people don't have that opportunity or don't have the grounds to do it in. So this program really gets their hands in the dirt, teaches them how to nurture something, how to take care of it, and it's a great, great program.
Yes, it is.
Excellent. What else can anybody do to volunteer to help out?
Well, we have other programs going on all the time. We have an educational program for the third grade. All the third graders come through Tapley Hall at one time or another and see some of the things that their parents or grandparents used to compare to the things they use today.
Yeah.
Like you use a cell phone, and back then you threw rocks at the neighbor's windows or used a rotary dial phone, and the kids look at that and say, what do you do with that?
It's funny.
or an old toaster or things like that. So we have those programs, and there's always something going on that people can get involved in.
Excellent. So go to the website, find out what part of the organization you want to be involved in, volunteer, help them out, help them raise money, help them preserve Danvers. David, thanks so much for coming out tonight.
My pleasure.
Wish you all the best.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, over to you.
Thank
Thank you, John. I'm over here with Tom from the Musery. Tom, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And it's an organization that I'm not necessarily familiar with, so I'd love, I guess, for starters, if you could educate both myself and the viewers at home just what the Musery is.
Sure. The Musery at its core is basically an instrument lending library. So instead of books, we lend instruments, anything that anybody needs to get started on a road to musical enrichment. Do you play an instrument yourself?
It's growing up, I'll mention a couple instruments I played. I know I played the viola, which I actually did enjoy a lot.
Nice. We're actually getting a resurgence in stringed instruments here
Okay.
on the North Shore. I get a lot of requests for violin and viola. You never guess that.
That's
but
incredible.
Here we go.
The timing is perfect there. So how does the Musery work then?
So we lend instruments to anybody in need. A lot of school-age children just kind of starting out that don't necessarily know what they want to play. But we take that risk out of getting started. So the borrowing terms are 90 days.
Okay.
You can kind of touch, feel, play, see what you like. If you don't like it, you can return it, get something else. So we just want to get the right instrument in the hands of the people to try. So at the end of the 90 days, you can, as long as it's being used and cared for, you renew, and on we go. So as long as those instruments are being played and cared for, we're ready to lend them.
That sounds perfect, because I know you mentioned how it allows people, and especially young people, to kind of get their feet wet with different instruments, because you don't necessarily know what you're going to want to play. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to play. I enjoyed it, but I did kind of have the viola kind of thrown at me when I was roughly like 8 or 9 years old.
Right. When you see the parents are buying those instruments, they can be pricey.
Absolutely,
So you kind of want to stick with it. You get that flute, and you have great expectations, and it might not work out. So
sure.
Like I said, we take that risk out of getting started, and we want to get the right instruments in those hands.
That's perfect, then. So if you have a young one who's interested in getting an instrument, or not necessarily sure what they want to play, please check out the Musery. So for those at home who do want to get involved, what would you recommend for them?
I mean, the best thing to do right now is to go to our website, themusery.org.
Okay.
You can go through right there, the contact information, and I actually get it. So I'll review what they want, and I'll reach out, and we'll schedule a meeting to kind of meet up and lend those instruments.
Perfect.
That's the best way to do it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out. Once again, with everyone we've talked to tonight, the website is right below us, right there on the lower third, themusery.org. So if this sounds like something that's a good fit for you, please absolutely check it out. Reach out to Tom. Just let him know kind of where you're at, whoever is the best fit for this. Let them know where they're at in life. And I'm sure he'd be more than happy to help out.
Yeah, and like I said, we work a lot with school age, but we don't discriminate. So it's never too late, never too early to get started.
Honestly.
So there you go. Want to try a cello? I got a good one kind of laying out.
Yeah, there you go. Save a space for me. That's awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about the Symphony of Trees Gala event?
So yeah, we have our big fundraising event. We do it every year. It's Symphony of Trees. So we have the Kendall Square Orchestra coming to perform at Woodman's in Essex. So we have dinner. We decorate Christmas trees with certain items from the community that we auction off as the fundraiser.
That's awesome.
It's great entertainment. Local sponsor, Pirelli Optical, that one of their employees is a trained opera singer, so she'll be singing at the event. The orchestra is teaming up with a rock band and kind of doing a fusion performance. So
that sounds like a lot of fun.
They'll be playing the Electric Light Orchestra, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Carol of Bells, like a holiday favorite. So it's really a great evening. So like the website's right there, themusery.org. The tickets are on sale now. The event is December 1st, 6 o'clock start. So if you can, please come and make it.
That's also December 1st, just a recap, 6 o'clock start?
Yes, Saturday, December 1st.
Perfect. That sounds like a great event, and I absolutely encourage you to check that out as well. So, Tom, thank you so much for
thanks for
coming
having
tonight.
me.
We do appreciate it.
Let me know when you're ready to borrow.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'll come knocking on the door soon. Don't worry about that. Let's send it back over to John.
Thank you, David. I'm here with Gala Bartlett. She's representing the Danvers Kiwanis Club, and she's involved in so many organizations that it's hard to keep track of which one she's representing. But hi, Gala.
Hi, John. How are you?
Good. This is your second time on tonight, right?
Yes, we're very busy tonight.
So I'm totally unfamiliar with the Danvers Kiwanis Club. Tell the Danvers community all about them.
He's cute. He's a past president, but that's okay. So Danvers Kiwanis Club, we are a wonderful service organization here in Danvers, and our mission mission is helping the children one child at a time. So our service work is basically geared towards children and people in the community. For example, last night we wrapped presents for foster children. So we went shopping and we bought the gifts for the children and we wrapped them, and we also presented a check to DARE. For their projects that they do with the Danvers schools. So that was wonderful. We were able to donate $2,000, which we raised from our restaurant raffle. So thank you to all the local businesses that donated gift certificates for us so we could help some other programs here in Danvers.
It really is a wonderful organization. It is a spearhead, if you will, because the Kiwanis Club puts on events and does things like the gift wrapping. But then it's the Danvers community that goes to the duck race, for example, and buys the tickets that raises money that allows them to do other things and support other organizations like the check that you wrote last night.
And our pancake breakfast,
Yes,
which is
another
always
great
a
one.
huge hit if it doesn't get snow, which sometimes it does. And I know you've been on the grills before. We
Yeah.
appreciate that. Pancake breakfast is huge. The duck race is huge. Big pull for our scholarship, which is always wonderful. And I think one of the things I love most about community service in Kiwanis is that we get to see these wonderful people in our community every day. We work together. Some of my best friends are Kiwanians. So I think it's a wonderful way to share not of your gifts and talents, but to get to know other people in your community that you serve as well.
Yep, absolutely. It's how many strong now? 80 or 90
Yeah, we're like
members? Yeah,
we're
it's,
one of the biggest groups in the district.
Yeah, it's a great organization. When I was involved with them, I never got to go to one of the other chapters in our district, which is in Bermuda.
Yep.
But, it's a good group of people doing wonderful things here in town. How can people help you?
Great. So we actually meet. We have different meetings. So we meet the first Wednesday of every month at Calitri's in Danvers. That's a night meeting, which starts at 6, which is a lot of fun. We have day meetings as well that start at noon on Tuesdays at the Danvers Port, which is great. We need people to join. We need people to donate their time and their services as well. We have 150 clubs in our district, actually, and so that's New England and Bermuda. So there's Kiwanians all over doing amazing things. We're in Beverly, Peabody, all over. So we're fun. We always need people to buy our tickets. We need pancake tickets. We need people to come to our events. We need people to purchase tickets to support us. And we need people to donate. So anytime you have something that you don't need, you can always call us. Right now, we're, I think next month, we're going to be doing baskets for Care Dimensions. So we're going to be making gift baskets for the children that go into the services of Care Dimensions.
It really is great people, great organization. Go to lunch on a Tuesday. You don't have to join right away. Somebody will buy your lunch for you. You get to sit and have lunch with wonderful people, find out about the organization, and then once you become a Kiwanian, most groups have their meetings on Tuesday at lunchtime, and so you can go to a meeting in any town that you happen to be in and meet new people, and you are always most welcome. So great organization. Thanks for all you do for it.
Thank you.
And best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, over to Greg and David.
John, you spoiled it. I'm here with Mr. Greg Dolan. And Greg, I think it's appropriate that we talk about a nonprofit organization that, honestly, we probably know best. And that, of course, is right here at DCAT. Greg, what is DCAT?
So I'll try to keep the explanation brief, because I think that one of the best things about DCAT and one of the best things about public access stations in general is the mission is so wide, and I feel like we get to accomplish so much and help out so many people in the community.
Yeah.
Like, it was great tonight, and I'd like to first of all thank everyone who came out from all these organizations. It's really amazing when you kind of start to see everyone back to back to back to back, how much great work people are doing, and how much the town of Danvers and the people of Danvers volunteer to really go above and beyond and help the town. Yeah. But you didn't ask me about that.
No, I didn't. But no, it's a good point. I mean, just real quickly. So we touched on, I think, roughly between 18 and 20. John mentioned at the top of the show, I forget the exact number, but there's way more than that located within the Danvers community in terms of nonprofit organizations to help out with and work with.
Yeah, actually, in our annual report last year, I found out when I took this job in July that we worked with over 100 nonprofit organizations last year, which is amazing that we were able to do that. Thank you. I wasn't here, so congratulations, guys. You guys did a lot of really good work.
I'll take all the credit.
So,
no
David,
problem.
good job. But I'm also impressed with how many nonprofit organizations there are
Yeah.
in Danvers and boards that are doing all this great work. I mean, it's not, you couldn't do that in every town because not every town has that commitment to volunteerism and to giving back to their community. So it's a really special thing for Danvers. But back to the question you asked, which is what does DCAT do? And we're PEG station, which means Public Education and Government. And a lot of people out there are probably familiar with the government side of it. We cover meetings, we cover selectmen, school committee, many other boards and things that pop up in town, but we also do a lot for education. So Ben Thomas is in the back room, and actually, if he wants to cut to themselves and give them a shout out.
Absolutely.
Hey, everyone.
All the
Ginny,
hard
you're on
work.
camera.
Yeah, Ginny has no idea.
Yeah,
That's
there you
okay.
go. Hi, everyone. There's everyone working behind the scenes, Jen, Ginny, and Ben. So Ben's the one who does a lot of the classes after school.
Yep.
He does stuff for Holton Richmond. He does after-school programs at all the elementary schools. And then we do programming for the school department itself to help them with their mission. So that's the education piece. And then the public access is really anyone out there. So if you watching are interested in making a show, you have something that you're really interested in, I highly encourage you to come down here, because making a show is really, it's really fun, and it's really rewarding because it's a way to give back to your community, but it's also a way to maybe dig deeper into a hobby you have. Like if you're into sports, maybe you could do a sports show and come in and really get to know people, bring in people for interviews, and kind of expand on your hobby a little bit. So that's the not short version of the short question you asked me.
No, I mean, that last one is a great point, because I work a lot more with the public side of things, which you just touched on. And Greg mentioned that if you have a hobby or something you're interested in, I've worked with people who have shows literally all over the place. I've worked with an 11-year-old who was passionate about board games, and he wanted to play board games. So he had a TV show where him and his friends played board games, and they kind of reviewed the board game as they were playing it. So everything from that to more serious-based talk shows. So, for example, I know our own Gala Bartlett has a couple religious-based talk shows where they really do dive into some important issues that affect both their organizations as well as the Danvers community as a whole. So there really isn't a restriction, I should say, in terms of
no, it's an open forum. If you have something you're interested in, something you're passionate about, I highly encourage you to come down. As you may have noticed tonight, David is a really nice guy, and he can help you get your show on the air. And then I do want to plug a few things that are coming up. So David, you and I and Gala have been working on a Lunch and Learn series that we're going to be starting. The first one will be in January, and it's going to be for nonprofit organizations who are looking to build their social media presence. And it's going to be an opportunity for you to come in, sit down, get a seminar from an expert, have something to eat, and learn and network. And we're hoping to really service all those 103 organizations plus whoever else wants to come in in more of a deep way, and give you something tangible that you can bring back and help support your mission. So that's going to be coming up in January. But then in the more immediate future, on November 27th, we have our public hearing, or Verizon has their public hearing with the town. And this is an opportunity that does not come up often. So the way our funding structure works is it's primarily through a franchise fee on cable bills. So the last time this came up for Verizon was actually 10 years ago. These are long contracts. So if you have an opinion about what you'd like to see for cable services in the town, if you want to come out and support DCAT, if you want to suggest things you'd like to see in the future, this is really your opportunity to come out and have your voice heard. So that will be November 27th at 7 p.m. I'm not sure where it will be yet. It'll be likely the Toomey Room or the Senior Center. But again, I strongly encourage people to come out and have their voice heard. That's one of the great things about Danvers I've noticed, is that people show up, people get their voice heard, and people listen. So I strongly encourage you to come out and say what you have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. People, they have a passion within Danvers, which is one of the reasons why there are so many nonprofit organizations. So, Greg, thank you so much for talking about DCAT.
And actually, we're going to wrap the show from here. So, John, if you want to come over and say a few words and say bye,
sure, yeah,
thank everyone for coming.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure John gets his moment.
Put you in the center. No, I don't need a moment.
We're all friends.
I'm on the board of directors here, and love DCAT. I love the town of Danvers. All the groups that we talked about tonight do great work, and as does DCAT. I've said it year after year after year. This is the hidden jewel in Danvers. If you have anything, as Greg said, that you want to say, that you have an interest in, come on down and do it.
All right. And with that, I think we can say thank you, and we can wrap it up. So thank you, everyone who's been watching. Thank you so much to everyone who came out tonight and gave a little bit of their time to share what they do with their organizations. It was a really inspiring night for me, and thanks again.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how else to end it other than thanking everybody for coming on, and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.